So I think now we can start. So welcome everybody, and the people who are joining for the first time. Just let me just give you an introduction. So um, I'm Pankaj. I work for Colored Cow from last 5 years, and yeah. Um, so these webinars are all about Glyphic right now. And so Glyphic is an open source platform which help NGO in two-way communication, which help NGOs to have a two-way communication with their beneficiary at a large scale. And we are building Glyphic from last 1 year now, and we are pretty close to release 1.0. So now, since we are too close to that milestone, we are expecting to a lot of contribution, and that's where we decided to let's have a webinar series, which will which will discuss and where we will discuss all the new technologies, all the processes we are following in Glyphic, so that it's easy for the people to contribute in that system. So yeah, and in the same series, all the previous two you can check out on YouTube, and this is the third one where we will discuss the Glyphic architecture. All right, so let's start. And yeah, so let's start with the current tech stack. So currently we are, Glyphic has two main component, and apart from that, there are different component in the periphery. So two main component, one is the backend, which is in Elixir and Phoenix, and the front end is in the React. Both are pretty new technology, and both have its own benefits. So we'll discuss further. So yeah, I mean, the main reason when we are thinking about this product, how we should build, and why we should, which technology we should pick. The one thing, the main consideration was that React, this platform is use the WhatsApp business APIs to interact, to communicate message between the beneficiary and NGOs. And WhatsApp ecosystem is the front end uses the React, and the back end also uses the Erlang. So, and if you, and the Erlang is the pretty old language which people use in the telecom industry. So those were the two thoughts. And a few years ago, uh, the Elixir got invented based on that Erlang framework. And Elixir, in those ways, Elixir is pretty much fast to have more to have the concurrency process, and to handle the large scale data. So Elixir is not good, as Elixir is a functional language. It doesn't get a good job on the computation, or you can say the session management and all kind of things. But yeah, it's pretty much fast to handle multiple processes and requests. So that was the main thing for Elixir. And the React you already know, I guess. React is the pretty new framework which is backed by Facebook, and people are adopting it and praising it. And yeah, it's really useful to do the rapid development. So yeah, I think let's first discuss the high level architecture. So this is the main architecture of Glyphic, where I put the Glyphic backend in center, and it implements the GraphQL API. So everything in Glyphic is we try to have a GraphQL API with all the functionality we have in Glyphic backend, and same the Glyphic front end uses all those GraphQL API, and yeah, I mean that's how they are connected. Apart from that, we also use Gupshup to use WhatsApp Business API and to send or receive the messages. So that's where this component comes in, and the system built in that way that we can easily attach more business provider or more WhatsApp providers in the system. So yeah, the next, apart from that, we also use some Google libraries, or like Dialogflow, to do some automation tagging and everything. So Dialogflow use ML, or the NLP processing to process the message and get the intent from the message, and put and tag them based on like critical or sensitive or happy, those kind of emotions to the message. So that's where we use mm, uh, the dialogue flow. The next thing when we are building that, the major thing was reporting. So as Glyphic is a multi-tenant system, and there are right now it's 15 plus NGO are using that system, and to build a generic report for all those NGOs in a different who works in a different sector is bit. I mean, it was not possible for us. So what we did that we just hand over all the reporting part to Google or to the Google platform. So the way it works that every NGO or every organization can connect their BigQuery account to Glyphic, and we just send all the data to their BigQuery platform. Once the and it's ongoing or real time process. So once they have data on BigQuery, Google provide another tool called Data Studio, which is pretty much integrated with BigQuery, and there you can build all your reports based on your need or based on your requirements. Apart from that, yeah, we have talked at length about the BigQuery and Data Studio in our previous webinar, so you can take a look at that as well. So, and apart from that, last the component is Postgres database. As I mentioned already, that it's a multi-tenant system. So we have multi-tenant with a single schema. So we have a single schema, but it's provided the row level security and everything for all the organizations. So that's a high level view of Glyphic architecture right now. All right. Yeah. So I think I talked about the Elixir and React combination and how we thought about the reports and everything. The next thing I want to talk about the deployment. So we in Glyphic we experimented with two approach for the deployment, and this is the first approach where we use AWS client to have the all the CI/CD process in place. So if you can see that architecture and if you know a bit about AWS, it's a pretty pretty easy or yeah. So so we are using code pipeline which builds our code and make a release, and then we just are using the Fargate which helps in CD process and just deploy the data on the server, deploy that specific build on the server. So the it was working fine and it was great to see the work, but the main the main backdrop we were thinking that it's a since we are building this as open source and more of the organizations NGOs we have who has a bit less money comparatively, so and this solution was a bit costly in that case. So that was the one thing. Because of that we moved to the another approach, and another thing that yeah, it needs a lot of knowledge, or it the AWS doesn't provide some console thing which we required for Elixir development or Elixir deployment, say. So there were two things, and based on that, we moved from AWS to Giga Elixir. Giga Elixir is pretty famous nowadays, who provides the GitHub-based deployment for Elixir. And Giga Elixir provide all the features, all the uh, all the commands like observer, SSH, root SSH, and running migration and all kind of stuff out of the box. So it's pretty easy there to deploy an Elixir app to Giga Elixir. We also extend Giga Elixir a bit more, and we deployed our React app there as well. So right now the complete software is deployed on Giga Elixir and it's working fine. So I'll also talk about Giga Elixir more, how it works and how we made it more easy in our upcoming webinar. But yeah, that's the main thing. So yeah, I think this is it on the Glyphic high level architecture and the various component we are using. Uh, Let me know if you have any question, then we can discuss more about it. Thanks. I hope I was not too fast. Yeah. Anybody has any question? All right. So I think that is it for this webinar, and I'll see you in next webinar with more technical aspect of Glyphic.
What are the challenges of the current stack that you're using
The current
with
tech
an
stack.
application, and as especially as the application is now scaling up and you are having more users in place and the system is coming under more load. There are a lot of webhook interactions that are happening. So is the current infrastructure or the initial infrastructure that you thought of, is it running into some problem? Do you have any reconsideration that you've done in the past 1 or 2 months, or has it been mostly a smooth ride?
No, no. So so far it's a great journey with Elixir and React, and everything is working perfectly. But yeah, since Elixir is quite new, and we were also learning initial days to Elixir, so we hit some roadblock in between, like some of the things we did, like Gen server and all the implementation, we thought it's good, but when the load comes up, we, those areas got fail, and so we also learned a lot about them and fixed them, and bit more structure, and now the code is more tighter. But yeah, I mean, because these two because it's new and the technologies keep evolving, we 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 sometimes we face some really weird issue, and it took us so many nights to figure out those issues and handle that load, and uh, yeah, fixing those bugs. So that's the only thing. Apart from that, Elixir provide a great development experience. I mean, since it's a functional language, so everything is so great, and the if you keep learning things, and the more you know about Elixir and React, I mean, it works perfectly. So that's the benefit. If I talk about more, um, let's say, risk or everything, I mean, so I mean the downside also there, like as I mentioned, that it's a functional, so we cannot do much computation for I mean, sometimes we need a computation or the session thing in place for some of the features and everything, which Elixir doesn't provide. So and now we are keep learning and everything. So uh, to there is always an opportunity to make that code better, and do all those things. So I would say that it's a pretty much good thing, but yeah, there are some downsides on those fronts. We didn't hit as a major block that we couldn't do that much because of Elixir. If we change the tech stack, we could much. But yeah, I mean, does that
Uh,
answer your question?
yes, it does. And I had one more question as a follow-up thing. As the application scales up, and use what I think I've seen the Glyphic architecture, the backend is different and front end is different. And usually the role of managing the load and handling the load is thought of, it's lies with the backend team itself. So were there any incidents where the front end team actually contributed to the system going haywire in terms of load and putting some stress? So were there anything, and did you do anything to resolve that?
Yeah, I mean, because we built both the platforms simultaneously. I mean, we were just keep exposing our APIs, and front end was keep consuming that. So there were some scenarios where front end keep connecting our system or keep asking for so much data in every 2 minutes, or in multiple times in one go, and those kind of stuff. But I would say that that's a part of the cycle. Apart from that, I don't think that, I mean, apart from the usual life cycle of the software, that having those bugs, identify those things when the so much load is coming or the edge cases thing, GraphQL structure or the Absinthe plugin really helped us to do that integration pretty smooth between front end and back end. So, and we also tied our code that let's say if somebody else use our APIs apart from our front end, so that those NGOs or those organizations didn't face those issues, because we were not putting so much validation on backend. Because so the one thing I realized while building Glyphic is that once you connect, once you build both the systems simultaneously, and you know that what should the front end call, and front end had so much knowledge about the backend APIs and everything, so they use those APIs carefully. I mean, how much data they should ask, how much data they need, what calls they need to make, and everything. But once the system go beyond the front end, I mean, other developers or other organization use our GraphQL API, they didn't know about those things. So so on that front, we also hit found some issues with our backend, that also, like, we need to set our default limitation of the data, default limit on the data size, and how much data we can pass, how much data you can receive, what calls you can make, how the authorization will happen, and those kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say that it's a just, we are just gradually building that product and facing all those issues and fixing them.
Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
Hi Pankaj, I have one question. Himanshu this side.
yeah, hi Manju.
Yeah. So you talked about like Elixir has some challenges, like everything can't be done in that, and there must be phases where some requirement came, and basically you face those challenges and you realize that it can't be done in Elixir. So in that case, how did you handle those scenarios? So were they like, did they affected the requirement part anytime, or you changed something in the code, or you had some other package or something? I mean,
Yeah, I
how was
mean,
that experience?
okay. No, yeah. So since this is an open source platform and we are pretty much open for all the organizations, so there are a lot of requests, and sometimes it makes sense to build all of them, and sometimes it's too specific. But there was, I mean, the all the requests we see, all the feature requests we see, that it's a generic, and we can build it in Glyphic. We handle, we pick those features and build it. While building those features, so that's how we filter the feature request first. And once we select the, okay, so that's a generic and more, it will help more organization, then we go for how to do it with Elixir. So for now, we didn't face any challenge with that, how to handle those things with uh, where we can't handle any request with Elixir or React. But yeah, there are some, we found some workaround, like for reporting and everything, we cannot build all the graphs and everything in our Glyphic system itself, because it's a lot of computation and the data and everything to query. So that's why we hand over to BigQuery and out of the Glyphic system. So I think we always found a solution which help NGOs and help organization to to fulfill their requirement. But as a feature per se, I didn't feel is there any feature which we can't build with Elixir, sort of, or I mean, all the front end thing. And if I talk more about that, there is a flow editor thing which built in JavaScript, and we just fork that library and put it in Glyphic itself, and then made modification in that library itself. So if there is something like that, we can integrate more packages or more open source project as well. But I didn't find any limitation for Elixir, because we didn't saw any requirement like this yet.
Okay, okay, that's fine. I mean, since I don't have much knowledge on Elixir or this Phoenix framework, and I can't go in deep with the technical stuff in that case, but I just to relate, I just want to know like how will you relate or how will you compare it with Laravel framework? How easy it has been, or are there any different kind of challenges in Elixir like that?
So yeah, as I said, Laravel is a object-oriented programming, right? And it's a object-oriented based on object-oriented PHP, and Elixir is a function programming. So both the language have their benefit, and
Right.
but the the environment or the behavior of Glyphic project where we need more concurrency or more request handling thing apart from the computation. So let's say if you are building a e-commerce website or something like that, you should go with Laravel and on those kind of, so where you need to store the let's say cart information and the product cart and all the multiple scenarios between a session or something like that. So, but in Glyphic, the requirements are a bit different. We just need a computation and sending message pretty much fast because a delay between sending two messages can make a huge difference between the beneficiary and everything. So, so I would say that if I compare to Elixir is way more faster than Laravel. Elixir is handle the request pretty fine. Uh, the concurrency and everything Elixir provide it better than Laravel, of course. So again, I say that in Glyphic, Elixir support or Elixir supports that much better than Laravel because we don't need those computation or those session things in Glyphic itself. Everything is just receiving message, do some processing and sending back to the client.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah. So if you are familiar that Ruby, I mean, if you read about more Elixir, you will find that, uh, I mean, the main advantage of having Elixir is the lightweight of that language and the pre-compiled
Mhm.
thing and the concurrency, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think these were the questions I had. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else has any question? All right, everybody. So I'll see you in upcoming webinar. And now we covered the architecture stuff. Next webinar, I'll show you some more CI implementation where we added multiple tools to make Elixir code much faster and much reliable, and to share a better development experience for all the contributors. So I'll see you in that webinar next week. All right.
All right. Thanks.